Welcome to the Listening Circle 2020 Album Awards. Our Discord server has just voted for our top 15 albums of the year, and in addition, we have some specific awards for some of the albums, so we will announce those as well. These award categories were all submitted by people in the Discord, so we voted on them, and the winners won some Bandcamp gift cards. Top winner won a music t-shirt of his choice, which he'll be selecting soon. And I think we picked some really excellent categories. So we've got a lovely cast with us today. These are all the winners of the competition based on the albums they submitted. So congratulations to everyone here. We have Emmitt.
Howdy.
And we got Dante.
Hello. I was forced to fight for my job here, but okay.
Nice. We have Grant.
Hey there, everybody. How's it going?
Yo. And last but certainly not least, we have Shane.
What up?
And Shane was also the winner of the category award, which we'll go over in a second once I announce what all the categories are. So I will go ahead and do that now. The categories for today that we'll be announcing the winners of. Shane's selected category was Best Lyrics of 2020. So he was the winner of that top voted category. Great job to him. Our second category we'll be announcing is the 2020 Anthem Award. That was submitted by Dante. Then we have Best 420 Album, also submitted by Dante. And then lastly, we had Grant's category, Best Night Drive Album. So stay tuned to see which albums win all those awards. One last thing before we get into it. This competition could not have happened without our super awesome Discord server, which was already pretty active going into 2020, but has recently exploded in popularity thanks to the pandemic, thanks to Among Us, and the movie nights that Grant has been hosting, the memes all of us have been sharing, all sorts of super fun stuff. So if you want to be a part of that, check out the description of the Spotify podcast or the YouTube video, wherever you are. There will be a link to the Discord server. We're always looking for more people to join us and hang out with us. So let's begin. I'll go over the top 15 in order, and when we encounter an album that won an award, we'll stop and talk about it. So firstly, our number 15 album of the year was Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. This was sort of like a throwback 80s synth pop-ish album, and it was also a nominee for Best Night Drive Album, which I was kind of gunning for this one personally to at least have a high spot in that one because I thought it was a perfect night drive sort of atmosphere. But yeah, did anyone else listen to the Dua Lipa album? What did you guys think of it?
I didn't listen to it a lot. I listened to Don't Start
Now.
Yeah, Don't Start Now. I should know because I listened to it on repeat this year. Like that was yeah, that song and then the intro to that album also I really, really dug. But yeah, I really liked kind of similar to Jessie Ware, who I'm sure will pop up in our discussion. Kind of like a throwback sound. A lot of fun, poppy, but still like pretty good stuff, you know. Good
Nice.
shit. I am a fan.
I actually had the opposite effect on me.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't get into it very much. I mean, okay. I guess it just didn't hook me like the Jessie Ware album. I guess since I had my preconceived notions about Dua Lipa versus I had no notions of Jessie Ware. I think I was having more of a thing like, okay, if this album is as good as everybody says, let it impress me to that level. And I guess it just didn't do it for me in that aspect. But I guess I should listen to it maybe a third time maybe, to really see if past the notions part, because I've already dropped the notion of it. So maybe if I'll go back and listen to it and see if I really do enjoy it. But overall, I didn't enjoy it as on the level of the Jessie Ware album because I love that album.
Yeah. We'll definitely be going over the Jessie Ware album. That's somewhere in here, but we'll leave it a surprise as to where that exactly was. So moving on, 14 was King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with KG, and that was also our runner-up for Best 420 album, which I thought was very fitting. And yeah, it's a cool kind of psychedelic rock album. King Gizzard's super prolific. They come out with a ton of albums every year, and I thought this one was really good. Had kind of a like Middle Eastern vibe, sort of a new sound for them. But yeah, I like that one a lot. Anyone else want to throw out some quick comments on it?
I do have to admit, Automation slaps.
That was a good song. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I thought it was really great too. The Middle East vibes or whatever, like, and those melodies, like totally not expecting them, but they work so well. And I feel like King Gizzard is really good at like whatever they're trying out in terms of their sound. Like they almost always excel at. And yeah, I was really impressed. And there's a lot of tracks on there that Straws in the Wind is a 2020 vibe as well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That track like definitely feels like it could fit. It fits very well for the 2020 vibe, in my opinion.
Hell yeah. Totally agree on that. Okay. Number 13 was Carly Rae Jepsen with Dedicated Side B. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on this. I did listen to a few of the tracks. I thought it was pretty good. It was also nominated for Best Boogie Down Album, but did not win that. But I did think that was a fitting nomination. But yeah, any thoughts on that one?
It's been a super important year for music that is for the gays. And I feel like
yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Well, yeah, and as a gay, I have to say that this is one of the albums that really stuck out to me. I also felt like this year, we had music that would have been amazing in like a club setting or in a party setting.
Yeah.
And 2020, the albums that were delivered, we ended up getting something where it's like, it's okay that we didn't have the dance floor. It's okay that we didn't have the club. And I feel like Dedicated was Carly stepping out into some new areas. And with her side B, she kind of takes it back into where she's more comfortable. So it's less adventurous, I would say, than Dedicated side A. But for people who are obsessed with Carly Rae Jepsen, like me, it's medicine.
As someone who is not obsessed with Carly Rae Jepsen and who is bisexual, I actually quite enjoy this album. Because I was like going into that was okay. So I had the opposite effect I was saying with Dua Lipa about the preconceived notion. I had a preconceived notion like I'm gonna hate this. Listen to it, kind of cried.
Carly's like that, man. She's incredible, and she not on any of this, but she also released an amazing Christmas song. I'm not usually one for original Christmas songs, but she wrote the perfect one for 2020. It's called "It's Not Christmas Till Somebody Cries." And there's a lyric about your grandpa stealing your weed gummies.
That's amazing. I got to check that one out.
I'm sad I didn't listen to this.
Guess what?
I know what I'm doing after this.
That's what you get for being a straight white male.
True.
Okay, number 12. This one was kind of a surprise to me, but I listened to it afterwards and it was better than I expected. This one was Junkie XL with the Sonic the Hedgehog soundtrack.
Oh my god, it's so good.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what?
Number
12. That movie.
Throw this out
I
there.
watched that movie. I don't remember the soundtrack.
So good.
Yeah, neither
so
did
good.
I.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm probably gonna get a little heat, but Sonic the Hedgehog is an objectively better movie and soundtrack than Tenet.
Ooh.
I wouldn't fight you on that at all.
Anyway, the Sonic soundtrack.
Yeah. So yeah, the Sonic soundtrack, it was good. Like I said, I didn't expect to see that one on there. But then I listened to it and I was like, okay, it's like definitely a good soundtrack, like as a soundtrack, but also like as an album in general.
Well, Junkie XL does really good scores for films, and like he did the Deadpool soundtrack. He did blanking on other shit right now. But I have the internet at my disposal, too lazy. He also did a lot of remixes for like Elvis songs that really work well as club songs. He turns like ordinary music into really cool music. So that's the magic of him. It's like you may not like every little thing he does, but it's all like vibey and interesting. So yeah.
Cool. Sounds like I gotta check out more of his stuff.
Yeah.
Number 11 was Charli XCX with How I'm Feeling Now. And that one, I thought it was good. I liked the first track especially. Had kind of like some industrial vibes. The rest of it wasn't as good in my opinion, but ultimately I thought it was not a bad album. What did you guys think of it?
I'm going to claim another one. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just agreeing with Elias. More or less the same, yeah. I didn't have a strong opinion.
I felt like this is another album that we kind of get to claim for the gays.
Alrighty then.
But the thing that I thought was really interesting is she kind of centered the production of this album and the production of music videos as like a quarantine-centered production. As an album, I like it, but I feel like she doesn't know how to end her songs.
Yeah,
and I didn't feel like some of it, it's like, okay, cool. But at the same time, it kind of follows this, like, if we had clubs in the 2020, which, you know, we don't, at what point is like, it's like she decided to make it bedroom pop for when she's not bedroom pop, because we can't have that because you can't go out. You know what I mean? Am I making sense?
No, I totally agree with you in that aspect. Like, it was definitely a quarantine heavy vibe, and I did enjoy the art album cover because it totally fit with how we're feeling, what we're going through. And I mean, the overall album wasn't very good, but I enjoyed it quite a bit, and it kind of made me feel like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this.
Yeah.
Let me just say, props to that whole Dylan Brady collaboration she did.
Okay.
Which song is that?
It's Claws.
Oh, well, that explains it. I fucking love that song.
Oh yeah.
It's a good song.
And at number 10, we have our first category winner of the night. The best 420 album of the year goes to Thundercat. It Is What It Is. So, yeah, congrats to Dante for submitting that one. Dante, do you want to give sort of your review of it?
I just want to say, in the words of Salvador Dali, that perfectly fits with me, I don't do drugs. I am drugs. And that's how this album feels. I mean, every track, like the title tracks for the album, King of the Hill, Dragon Ball Durag, like these tracks are like if you saw that interview Thundercat did on Hot Ones, he epitomized that quote I just said. I don't do drugs. I literally don't. But everybody who's ever met me constantly says all the time, you look like you do every single kind of drug. So I just kind of vibe with this album. It was a real, like, if I did drugs, this is where the drugs I would like. This would be the music I did them to. I wouldn't do it to like. I wouldn't be that pretentious fucking boomers. Like, yeah, man, I fucking did it to the wall and Dark Side of the Moon, man. I tripped acid and shrooms at the same time. I was that kind of guy. Like, no, fuck that. I want to do something silly, something fun, something vibey. Like, that's the kind of shit I would listen to. And it's just it's. Someone described Thundercat in a great explanation. He's the Carlos Santana, but the millennial version. And I thought that was the perfect just sum up of Thundercat. So it's a great album. I would highly recommend that album.
Yeah, Thundercat's great. I have a lot of love for Thundercat as well. Part of what I think makes a really good album, like a really good stony album, like an album that you want to get stoned to, is like one, are the vibes on point, and two, is there like for me personally, is there like a melody that you can kind of follow and like sort of pay attention to? And with all of Thundercat's stuff, both of those things, because like the vibes are always on point. Like you can always just chill, like no matter whether it's like a faster track, House Sway, or like a slower track like Unrequited Love, or King of the Hill. Like no matter what, like there's like a baseline vibe. And speaking of baselines, my guy Thundercat shreds the fucking bass. Oh my god, incredible. Yeah, just absolutely talented musician, talented voice, so good. So I think it works whether you're under the influence or not, frankly.
The whole album was just like a wonderful cohesive experience. I definitely adored that aspect of it.
Yeah, very much agree.
Yeah, the cohesiveness, also the huge collaborations on the album, like with Ty Dolla $ign, Little B, Childish Gambino, Zach Fox, like just like a whole list of people, and it doesn't feel like in the sense of like, oh, this guy's on this track, this guy's on that track, this guy's on the track, like say like a DJ Khaled album where it's just like somebody appears on the thing and you're like, oh my god, they're just doing it just for the sake of getting publicity of the song. It feels like it works within the nature of the song. It feels like hey, let's get this guy on here because it might do well for the popularity of the album. It felt like they were part of the band. They were part of like the album as an experience. So it didn't feel like noticeable. It was very subtle, but still very kind of fun and also very vibrant. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely have to get stoned to it later.
Yeah.
That's why it won.
I will say regarding your point, Dante, like I think that one of the best things that the 2010s offered us and continuing into the 2020s is like jazz artists collaborating with hip hop artists is like my favorite thing ever.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Okay, so that is Thundercat. It is what it is. Go check that album out. Best 420 album. Go smoke to that album. Number 9, we have another a runner-up here. We had to pick a runner-up because one of our albums won 2 awards, and so we had to have someone else on the podcast and give out another sort of award there. So our runner-up for best lyrics of 2020 was "Fetch the Bolt Cutters" by Fiona Apple, and this was Emmitt's submission. So congrats, Emmitt! And
thank you, but don't congratulate me because I'm not a winner. So I picked "Fetch the Bolt Cutters." So I think that this year is really interesting because we have a lot of albums that are fucking great released on the same day that another album is released that is fucking great. And both of my albums of the year, like my number ones, were released on, I wrote down the date. I said it earlier.
April 17th, 2020.
Yes, sir. So we had Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters, and hours earlier we had Sawayama. They came out on the same day. This album is an Aries. So when you think about the sign of the Aries, you think enterprising, incisive, spontaneous, daring, and active. And I think that these really apply to Fetch the Bolt Cutters. It's the first record Fiona Apple has had in a long time, and her coming back is powerful. The way that the album is composed, a lot of it is like very just thrown together. Like we have cats meowing on one track, which I'm a cat person, so fuck yeah. And it's very, very lyrically driven because everything is so stripped back musically. You get like drumming in the background, songs where like the piano is just played sometimes. Tracks that really stand out to me from this one are Shamika. I think Shamika is my favorite. It's about this one time when Fiona Apple got made fun of for trying to sit with the popular kids, and a girl named Shamika, who was a grade above her, said, "Don't sit with them. They're dumb and mean, and you have potential." And it led to a really, really interesting development of 2020. There's a line in Shamika that says, she's talked to me and now I'll never see her again. And shortly after releasing this song, Shamika reached out to Fiona Apple, and that is actually a collaboration track called Shamika Said, where Fiona sings a version of her hook from the song and Shamika raps over it. And it's really, really, really good, and it's really fun, and you'll love to see it.
No, that is epic.
Right? I can't tell if you're making fun of me, but yeah, I really like it. And I just felt like the tone of the album and the lyrics of it match what a lot of people are going through in 2020. We got this in April, so that's a month after the quarantine starts, so people are feeling trapped, right? Because they're stuck in their houses. And you come with this album that's called Fetch the Bolt Cutters. And the whole purpose of the album, lyrically, Fiona said, "Fetch the fucking bolt cutters and cut yourself out of the situation that you're in, whatever that is, if you don't like it." And so being in quarantine and having that be the message of the album is very empowering. But I also kind of took it as like a lot of people who listened to this felt this way about the situation that is the current president.
Yeah.
And so I saw kind of a lot of, I don't know, and this is another album that I claim for the gays. A lot of the gays TM and my friend group were kind of like, this is the closest you get to a white liberal woman singing about something that you're able to rally around and be passionate about the politics, where it's not cringy or too on the nose.
Yeah.
Especially songs about, so like Newspaper is about an abuser. And I feel like a lot of the songs that are about abusers or about cheaters, they have these kinds of blanket themes that can be applied to how a lot of people perceive the current president that we have, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm rambling.
I mean, no, it makes perfect sense because it was also referencing to the kind of the abusers of like also the Me Too of
Yeah,
how like the
big
themes,
time.
how it hit about like she was mentioning how like some big she didn't say who, but I think you said it was I don't remember, it was a record exec or executive producer for some
I think it was a record
studio.
exec, yeah.
Yeah, and then she was like holding some girl like he was like some kind of pet, and just
Yeah.
like it was, you know, that, so that really hit hard, and especially me who works in the industry. I haven't been personally I've been at my fair share of that kind of stuff, but not in the industry, but I've seen friends and, you know, complain about those kinds of things and hear those things, so it was very real to me as well. So, and hearing
Yeah.
all those things is just, yeah.
And that's one of the things that I really like about it is, like, lyrically, she's really creative, and she's talking about these situations that pretty much everybody can relate to in some way. I will say, when I first listened to it, it was like when I first listened to Blonde by Frank Ocean, which was like, I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't think I like this. But when you let yourself sit with the lyrics, I feel like it really stands out, which is why I am really happy that this won Lyrics of 2020, because lyrically, she put her whole pussy into it. Other tracks that I like, Newspaper and Under the Table and Ladies. Those are like my top songs from the album.
I'm a really big fan of Relay. I really like
Relay. Fucking, I wrote a note about Relay.
Relay. Oh God, I love that. I don't know what that part of the song is called technically, but it's good. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I really love On I Go. That one like really just felt really nice, even though it's very simplistic and very repetitive. For some reason, it felt very calm.
I feel like she nails that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was Fiona Apple, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, runner-up for Best Lyrics. And at number 8, and I'm super thankful for you guys for the Discord server for having listened to this. This was one that a good friend of mine put out, and the drums on it were performed by yours truly. And this was Heaven is at a Distance by Jonathan Fraser. So this was one that we recorded last year. A lot of blast beats on this album. It was very tiring to perform, but it definitely paid off because it turned out fantastic. And for those of you who haven't heard it, it's sort of a shoegazy post-metal album, a lot of atmosphere, and a lot of hard work and talent poured into the album. So super happy to have worked on it, and I'm happy that it won 8th place in our list. So
this wasn't a nepotism vote, by the way. This was a genuine love for the album.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's really good. I've only listened to the first track, admittedly, but I really liked it, and it's not really my type of music. Like, it's not what I typically listen to, but I loved it. It's good shit.
Hell yeah! Well, yeah. To be fair, the first track is like 12 minutes long, so it's like,
I think that's why I appreciated it so much. That it took so much risk, and it felt very personal. And felt very deep into what Jonathan was going for.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Grant. It's not my style of, you know, it's not my vibe. It's not my aesthetic. You know, I try getting into those kinds of bands, but Jonathan, I felt like was the first one I could probably palate and actually digest for the first time and actually feel a sense of like not even just the overall sound, but also the overall message and themes of the album. And it kind of like, I felt the pain and passion he put into those songs. So it felt really real. And I think that's why I appreciated it so much. I wasn't trying to be like, yeah, he's, you know, somewhat, you know, a friend, so I'll vote for it. No, it was honest to God. Like, I heard it and I was like, God damn.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it really was a powerful album, and especially if you, if you listen to, which I'm sure some of you did, listen to the interview I did with him for our Listening Circle YouTube channel and our Instagram. He goes into some of the emotions that went into the album, and his mother passing away a couple years ago, and just sort of like him sort of rethinking his life and going through all these things, and it really provides a little bit of context for the music behind the album and the inspiration. But yeah, super good album. I think it's his best work yet. And if you haven't heard it, I hope you go check it out. It's very good. At number 7, we have, and I was actually kind of surprised about this one as well, but I ended up liking it too. This was Lady Gaga with Chromatica. Yeah, she blends a few different genres on here. I thought it was good. I didn't like all of the tracks, but some of them were definitely very catchy and very upbeat and there's a little bit of like orchestral stuff on there too. But yeah, what did you guys think of those of you who've listened to the new Lady Gaga album?
I'm not a lady. Okay. Back when I was kind of younger and not out of the closet yet and kind of very I wouldn't say homophobic, but more like had my biases and prejudices towards that whole field. I had a disdain towards, and then I think the more I came out, the more I just started to accept her and started to like her. And then I saw A Star Is Born, and I really enjoyed her performance in that, and that made me really appreciate her as an artist. But overall, I say this because I'm not coming from a place of biasness towards her in the sense of how I used to be. But I feel like it wasn't a horrible album. Like, it's a good album, but it just was not that kind of album I really wanted to enjoy as much as I forgot the other name of that fucking album that was really good she did. But yeah, you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
anyone else have thoughts on it?
This was on my list of like things that I consider like kind of a neo disco of 2020.
Yeah,
with like Dua Lipa's album, with the Jessie Ware album, and kind of with the Charli XCX too. I really enjoyed Chromatica. We get a lot of old Gaga sound with new Gaga confidence, which I really like, and I feel like 911 is my favorite track from that personally, just because My Biggest Enemy Is Me is a fun thing to sing to yourself when you're trapped in your house, right? And you're forced to face yourself in a way. But I do think, at the same time, it's not as big as some of her earlier albums, but it was fun. It was great. I loved it.
Cool. At number 6, we have the prolific experimental metal band from Japan, Boris, with their new album No. And I liked this one a lot. Sort of like I said in the previous one, kind of blends a lot of things together. There's some like thrashy vibes here, there's some doom vibes here, and kind of makes sense because they're a band that's experimented with a lot of different sounds in the past. And funny enough, after we did this competition poll, they came out with another album that's a collaboration with the noise artist Merzbow, and that one was also super good. But yeah, I liked this album a lot. Did you guys listen to this?
It's definitely a perfect amalgam of like their whole drone catalog, and like especially like paying homage to Japanese hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it just blends so well perfectly.
Yeah, totally. Dante, did you listen to this one by any chance?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Surprisingly, prepare to take a shot. I've never heard of this band before. Oh man, it's just like this, I feel like you just made this podcast just to force me to listen to bands I've never heard of or would never give the light of day. If you told me to, but yeah, I wouldn't say I disliked the album. I wouldn't say I loved the album, but I was definitely what I appreciated about it was it kind of the sense of like the tone. I really appreciated the tone of the album in the sense of like what it knew it was going for, what it knew it was trying to, strive and achieve, and how it kind of made me feel. It felt like when you first play Brutal Legend, and how like when it first like introduces you to like the Omagagan god, and how it's like that big thunderous fucking horror feel, and just like you're like, what the fuck am I getting into? That's how I felt like this whole album, and I kind of appreciated it, even though it was not my vibe. I honestly appreciated that aspect of the album.
Number 5, and this I'm also super happy that this was high in the list. Did not expect an album with so much noise in it to be well received by the group, but it was, and I'm super happy about it. This was Clipping with Visions of Bodies Being Burned. It also won Best Night Drive Album, so congratulations to you, Grant. And yeah, do you want to go ahead and introduce us to this experimental hip-hop album?
Yeah, so I've been a fan of Clipping for a little bit, and this new album it's so good. And why I like listening to it at night is because, and I think Elias, you'll agree with me. I don't know if any of you guys have listened to it, but like the instrumentation is so sinister sounding. Like you have like not only noise but like really creepy like synths that are like really well done and kind of produce like this very like evil, sinister atmosphere. Like whenever I'm listening to this album driving around at night, I simultaneously feel like someone who should be feared and then also somebody who should be scared of somebody who I should fear. Yeah, and like even though like you have like your gritty noise bits and like some sort of abrasive stuff, like pretty much almost all the tracks have like really sick beats as well. Like Say the Name has that repeating like uh vocal sample and builds off of that. Songs like Check the Lock have a really good beat. The only one song that doesn't have like a beat per se is Eaten Alive, which is just like it sounds like avant-garde, like staccato-y, like I don't know, like just like creepy noises. And I think I described it as whenever I listen to it, it feels like I'm being chopped up and fed to gators in a Louisiana swamp somewhere. Like it's very like I don't know, for me emotionally it's a very evocative album. Plus David's flow is always like really really great. There's going back to one of my favorite tracks, Check the Lock, like I think he's really good at painting a picture of like in that song of like somebody who's like super freaking paranoid about like everything, and like it's just the track has such a nice sense of momentum, and like the album flows really well. I have a tremendous amount of love for this album, and also some of the tracks end like super melodically in ways that you don't expect. Like
song
Pain
progressions are
Every
really
Day
cool.
as well
I
has
love
a
that song.
really nice. It's just I want to open it up to you guys. I want to get your thoughts.
I honestly felt like you said everything I was ever going to try to say about this album. Did you play this after we saw Evil Dead? Was that the album?
Yeah, this was the one that I played.
Because I listened to it again, but I was just wanted to make sure that was so. Me and Grant saw Evil Dead 2 at the Santa Ana. Well, it was in Tustin, but the Santa Ana Frida Drive-In, which they held at in Tustin. Anyways, so he played that album for me after we went to go see the movie, and honestly it felt like I was back watching Evil Dead again, because all the old horror sound effects, all the little sound bites from little horror films, like obscure ones too, not like, oh, it's just Scream or I Know What You Did. No, these were like spitting on your grave kind of shit. He's like, whoa, bro, he's pulling out the stops. He's like pulling out all the fucking things. I don't even like this kind of style thing, but it's fucking going for me. I'm vibing to this. I'm feeling it. It makes me feel eerie, and everything Grant said, I can't even say it. It's just, he already said it.
Yeah, I do admire David's storytelling on all the tracks. I mean, he's mastered horrorcore perfectly.
Honestly, yeah. The last album was like that too.
Yeah, and I definitely love like all the sound experimentation. 96 Neve Campbell is a pretty damn good track. I mean, like,
yeah,
and I can see why it won Best Night Drive album. Just like having that door knocking, like as you're driving, like, holy hell,
so good.
Yeah, Grant, I think you hit the nail on the head for me as far as like why I liked this album more than their previous ones, because I've known about them for quite a while, is that like it had it was much more beat driven, and like for me personally, like a lot of the industrial stuff that's more like ambient and minimalistic, I usually like can't get into as much, but some of the beats on this thing go hard. I mean, Pain Every Day, Looking Like Meat, Say the Name, those are like absolute banger tracks, and yeah, I was absolutely loving it. What about you, Emmitt? Yeah.
No, it's just everything y'all said. Yeah. They Don't Miss. I really like this. This is another one of those albums that like the timing was everything, but I think Clipping usually releases around Halloween, don't they?
Well, no, this was pushed back because of the this was pushed back because of the COVID pandemic, but they schedule it right on time to release for Halloween.
Oh, okay. I thought that was something that they did purposefully, because I feel like Night Drive released right as the nights are getting longer. It's the perfect song for the category, and it's the perfect song for the Halloween season, and perfect song for a perfect album for the Night Drive. So yeah, what all y'all said, They Don't Miss.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, go check out Clipping if you haven't already. They're awesome. I saw them live at the Adult Swim Festival last year too. That was super awesome. Yeah, super talented guys. We're going to continue our top 5 with the number 4 album of the year, which I know all of us loved. Jessie Ware, What's Your Pleasure?
What's your pleasure?
This was yes, this is kind of like a post-disco album. Probably the best like disco throwback out of all the ones we've mentioned so far.
Honestly, it doesn't even feel like a post or a throwback. It honestly feels like a genuine disco album.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I mean, it literally is like a time machine to the 70s.
Honestly, I felt like a Donna Summer record, honestly.
Yeah.
Like literally, I honestly could not tell the fucking difference. I mean, other than probably the cover because it's the yeah, but no, seriously, I honestly, we've said so much on the previous episode before about it, but I thought this album would wear itself off on me. Maybe like the kind of the effect of it maybe would probably wear off. No, it kept its true core to the very end.
Were you scared that it was gonna Jessie wear off of you?
Oh my god! Gulag now! Gulag now!
All right, sorry, I couldn't resist.
Oh my god, I'll give you that one. Fine. But no, just honestly, like Emmitt was saying, we haven't felt the club setting of this music, and honest God, I'm not a club guy. I grew up in Miami, and my brother used to work at Mansion and Spaced, and I've been to those clubs. I've been to all those things. I don't really like that crowd. I fucking hate that crowd. But honest to God, if this was playing at those nightclubs, if that was honestly playing at those nightclubs, I would 100% go. I would fucking dress up like my dad did back in the fucking 80s, like total fucking Travolta style Saturday Night Fever, and just honestly boogie the fuck down until I could fucking drop. Okay, I fucking love this album. It is a masterpiece among every level. It is a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, you said everything on my mind.
Yeah, it's just like I had like a list in my house of like Neo Disco 2020, and you could put it as a spectrum of like the album is an album, like the albums of the Neo Disco are like where the artist's comfort zone is. So like I really think the Dua Lipa album is great. There's parts of it where you're like, I can see the roots in modern pop, and I feel like What's Your Pleasure is kind of the only one of these records that is completely absorbed in like its own era, if that makes sense. So like comparing it to maybe like Chromatica or Future Nostalgia or even Side B by Carly Rae Jepsen, it's like completely retro. It's completely original. It doesn't really sound like anything else that was made in this decade. I know we just started the decade.
All right, perfect. And then at number 3 we have Ultramono by Idols.
Yes.
That was also the runner-up for 2020 anthem. Super rockin' 2020 punk album. And yeah, what did you guys think about it?
Honestly, when I made that category 2020 anthem, I meant like 2020 of the revolution of the whole political spectrum that's going on right now with the whole Black Lives Matter protests, the current uprising of the social class warfare, how we're being screwed over constantly. And this honestly felt like this kind of song. And next to the one that won the category, which I won't say because I'm going to let you do it, but the Idols Ultramono felt like, yeah, this makes me want to go to DC with my $600 fucking check and go grab a fucking soup can and throw it at somebody's fucking head. Honest to God. It's just for my family, I swear.
I mean, I do love the album's energy.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Super energetic.
Yeah, one of the greatest punk releases of this year.
At number 2, we have, and this one also kind of surprised me. I probably am going to disagree with you on this one a little bit, but number 2 was The Weeknd with After Hours. Sort of an R&B album. I don't really know how I'd describe it, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. But what did you guys think about it?
Well, first off, fuck you, because that album is a fuck. Okay, I don't even like The Weeknd. I don't even like The Weeknd. The Weeknd can suck my literal dick. Okay, but this album, from start to finish, honest to God, was a fucking vibe and a half. Like, I put the After Hours song alone. The After Hours song alone makes me want to get up and dance. Any meme someone has made about it, any kind of little tiny tidbits anybody has made, anything on that fucking album has, honest to God, I've played the memes, the Will Smith meme over and over again on it. Oh my God. It honestly feels like I'm in the movie Drive. I'm Ryan Gosling. I'm literally me. And I'm fucking driving with that. And the synths, the honest, I can't even describe in words. It's like that meme is like pure fucking cinema. Well, this is pure fucking magic. It was just golden, dripped to its core, dripped out of my mouth, and everything I ever wanted out of a fucking album. It was like that neo-noir fucking just vibe of driving around the city. Honestly, that could have won Night Drive album as well next to Clipping, because that felt like something I could go around, and I felt like I was in a cinema movie. I can't even, someone else talk. I can't even describe it.
I mean, I do love the 80s throwback. Blinding Lights is pretty damn good. And I was actually surprised to see 10 Tricks Point Never actually co-produce some tracks on that thing.
Because 10 Tricks did the Uncut Gems.
Yep, he did. And I think After Hours kind of led to the Weeknd collaborating on 10 Tricks Point Never's track No Nightmares off of Magic 10 Tricks Point Never, which I thought was a pretty good album that came out this year.
Yeah, that one was another good Night Drive. But yeah, we had a lot of good ones for that category, and this ended up being the runner-up for best Night Drive album. So totally see where you guys are going with that. But yeah, I personally didn't really care for like the vocals. I guess I don't know, it just wasn't really my type of style of music. But I could definitely see the talent behind it. So yeah, congratulations to the Weeknd. So before we get into our number one of the year, which some of you have probably guessed by now, we also wanted to go over what our worst album was of the year, because when I was doing the calculations for the poll, I noticed there was one that was pretty low down. A lot of people marked that they hated it. And after, doing a little bit of a listen to it, I can definitely see why. We have the Green Day album, Father of All, the 100% pure uncut rock album with no trap beats or Swedish songwriters. Yeah, who wants to go first about their thoughts on
Oh my God.
First, because I have only a very few amount of thoughts. Before we started this podcast, I was told to listen to the track I Want to Stab You in the Heart, and I wish the singer did stab me in the heart instead of listening. I didn't even listen to all of it. I only made it 36 seconds in, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of getting old. How long have I been listening to this? Less than like a minute. So to anybody who actually listened to this thing in its entirety, like, you're braver than I am. Like, congratulations.
Oh my God, I don't like Green Day. But I'll give fair props to Green Day when they do good fucking albums. I, honest to God, like that first Dookie. Well, it's not the first album, but that Dookie album. I think it's a good album. I may be a Green Day hater, but the moment I put "Stab You in the Heart" on, or "Father of All," I was like, what is this ear garbage? Who fucking decided this was a releasable album? Who thought to themselves, you know what? I think we have a banger on here, guys. Wait. Fucking the Grammys are calling. It's been nominated. No, fuck you. It's horrible. What the fuck were they? Literally, okay. Their career has a fucking like legacy to it. I don't like their career, but it has a legacy to it. I will admit that. This feels like they just took a giant shit all over that fucking legacy.
Yeah.
I've pointed this out to lots of people numerous times, but like, each track, like, if you close your eyes and you play it and envision a car commercial in your head, it fits perfectly in such a horrible way. Like, it has the clapping, it has the whoa-ohs and the oh yeahs. Like,
yeah, car commercial definitely sums it up.
I felt like they were kind of trying to aim for what Jake Shears does kind of naturally. Anybody with me on that or not?
I'm not familiar with Jake Shears at the top of my head.
I don't know. He's like a rock guy, and he's cool. and he's all about like authenticity, but he's not cringe about it at all because he's just comfortable and not like, oh, I don't use Swedish. It's just more about like, this is me and what I do. And like, I was looking at some of the imagery where they're using like imagery from like a pride parade and stuff in some of their music videos, and I was just like, y'all really, really want to be something you're not, huh? A bunch of yes people were like, yes, if you put that in the album, it'll be good. Yes, if you put that in the music. And it's like, these people have too much money. Too many people are saying yes to them in the production of the things that they are making.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't even feel like, when I listen to it, I'm like, I don't think Green Day actually wrote this. I think some record executive like wrote it and handed it to them and told Billy Joe Armstrong to do like vocals or not. Like,
but was
not
he
even
Swedish?
Right, exactly.
No. He's American, so that makes the hugest difference.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, their record contract's done. I don't know if that was like some sort of maneuver to like get out of it, but it's still a shit album.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, worst album of the year. Funny enough, Fantano actually gave it his number 3 worst album of the year. So that means there's 2 albums out there worse than this, apparently.
Jesus Christ. What could that
be? No, like I found out it was Trapped and Tory Lanez.
Oh, well, I feel like that already goes in the garbage.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
already a garbage band.
Got a little too headstrong and ready to take on anyone.
Oh, they're gonna hear this podcast and then fucking blast us on fucking Parler.
Oh hell yeah, that'll get us the most publicity we've ever had.
From the wrong audience.
Fame and fortune, here we come.
All right, and now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the best album of the year, winner of 2 categories, best lyrics of 2020 and best anthem of 2020. We have Run the Jewels with RTJ4. And congrats, Shane, for claiming this one. I know we all kind of wanted to like claim it, and you snapped it. So good job on that one.
I'm surprised nobody like claimed it in the first minute.
Well, the motherfucking jewels. I was actually thinking about it, but I was like, I want to be different. I want to put a different album on. I'm a dumbass. I was honestly the god, like, let me put. No, let me not do Run the
Jewels. Checkmate.
So yeah, Run the Jewels, the best hip hop album of our recent memory, probably. Shane, do you want to give us an introduction to it?
So I've discovered a lot of new bands and in quarantine, and Run the Jewels was among one of them, and like I adored Run the Jewels too, and I actually got to find out what Zach De La Rocha of Rage Against the Machine has been up to recently.
Yeah.
So I was definitely hyped up for Run the Jewels 4. It is a great fucking out, like it's LP and Killer Mike doing what they've always done. Like the chemistry is perfect. It's always like 50-50, like between like bars. It's actually got some of the best bars on there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like yeah. One of the most hard hitting ones was in Just Look at All These Slave Masters Posing on Your Dollar.
Yes.
Honestly, feels like a Rage line.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like something that like Zach would have like made before, like outside of this collaboration on his own.
Right. So, and I also like the phrasing of like on your dollar, right? Because it's like ultimately it's like money is power and like it's ours, you know, but like they're posing on it and it belongs to us. I like the framing of that a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly sorry, go ahead.
Oh, as for the anthem of 2020 aspect, I mean, it came out at like exactly the right time. The lyrics aged so well because I mean this could have been recorded like last year, but like now it's just as relevant as ever. Like what with all the shit that happened this year.
Well, the I Can't Breathe light wasn't towards George Floyd, and it's still fucking relevant.
Yeah, and Mavis Staples' line, "There's a grenade in my heart and the pin is in their palm." I mean,
yeah.
That Floyd incident, like everyone snapped, and This is truly the soundtrack to a revolution.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Get the Glishnikov, comrade.
Yeah, Run the Jewels should be blessed with such an honor.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then LP's production on top of all of it. It's like not only are these lyrics so relevant and so powerful and moving, but like just like the beats on these things and the sound design is just
hard.
Yeah.
And it really hits the lyrics like really well. Like I think a good example of that is off of Holy Kalama Fuck.
Oh
yes.
Through like it goes from one beat to the other, and it like it kind of slows down, but it still has that fucking attitude, and it's still very much a banger, you know. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite classic LP production tricks is like you change the beat halfway through and like it goes even harder. It's like, oh, it's so good.
But I think what I really appreciate is also kind of the tone, how I was able to blend these tones together, because not only had it that serious side to it, it also had the like humorous, comedic kind of like goofy side to it, but still kind of hit hard at the same time. Like even though there's that why am I blanking on his name? Fuck, but he had the line of like, let me buy a hot dog stand because I'm trying to be frank.
That was 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and looking
hard,
back,
that slaps. It's goofy as fuck, but it slaps.
Yeah.
But looking back, I'd have to say like "Out of Sight" is my definite favorite track on that album, because like the beats so fucking amazing. And like, especially the hot dog stand line, best bar of 2020
to go with it is great. Oh my god,
yeah, wonderful.
What about you, Emmitt? Any thoughts on Run the Jewels?
I liked it. I'm sorry, there was a lot of really, really good music that came out this year. I felt like the timing of Run the Jewels 4 was perfect. I am a huge fan of the song Just in particular. But overall, I wasn't. I guess I just don't share it with y'all. I thought it was okay.
Well, guess gulag for you.
Best note to end on.
Sorry,
album of the year, one center.
Hey, it's okay. Now you know how I feel about the Weeknd and getting shat on by everyone.
Okay,
that's also how I feel about the Weeknd album too, though.
Oh, you're both getting the gulag. I hate you.
Oh man.
Cue that Anakin scene from Star Wars. I hate you.
Cool.
You are my brother, Anakin.
I'm sorry.
You're the chosen one.
Like the production on it is amazing, but I don't know, it was okay. I'm sorry.
Oh man, this must have been how that Pitchfork writer felt when they reviewed the Mars Volta, Francis the Mute, and they gave it like.
Oh no, they were even more wrong.
I cannot forgive Pitchfork for that. I cannot forgive Pitchfork. I don't.
Pitchfork also gave a low rating to the Ultramono, so fuck them.
Fuck.
Wait, what'd they give it?
I think like. Hold on, I gotta Google it. My brain wants to say a 6 or a 4, but I don't remember at the moment.
Y'all care about Pitchfork?
Pitchfork Bros.
Anybody who doesn't agree with my opinions, I have to express an anger about that because I just like being mad.
Exactly.
You know,
of course. Why don't they agree with me? Like I'm right.
Yeah, they don't agree with me in particular. How could they?
They gave it a 5.5.
Oh my god,
big
bro.
Shame.
I mean, let me just say, like, as Brockhampton made their fans chant, "Fuck Pitchfork."
Yeah, that's where we end it right there. Fuck Pitchfork.
Perfect.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
We're
replacing Pitchfork.
Yes,
we did it.
Yep.
Doing it, dude. Listening
that would be a lot better to me for the
world. Taking over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go off.
This is how we achieve world peace and solve hunger.
Yes. Blending the two podcasts. Anyway, there you have it, folks. RTJ4 is officially Listening Circle's album of the year for 2020. And be sure to check out all the albums we mentioned. They're all fantastic. We're going to have some playlists that you can listen to on Spotify and Apple Music and all that jazz. If you want to tell us about how much you love or hate these albums, be sure to join the Discord server and yell at us about it. We're going to do another competition like this next year. We're doing all sorts of fun stuff in the server all the time. So join that in the description. And huge thanks to all of you for participating, everyone in the Discord server for participating, everyone who's listening to the podcast for supporting us. Huge shout out to all of you guys. And yeah, this Discord server was kind of a lifesaver for me in 2020. I don't know about any of you guys.
Hell
But
to the motherfucking
Here.
yeah.
No,
this is a good.
great getting to.
This is a good.
It's great. It's great getting to chat with all of you. So
Yeah, and we're gonna be doing even more of that in 2021. It's gonna be super awesome.
Yeah, boy.
So yeah, you're all wonderful people. Love you all. And happy New Year, because that's around the time this will probably come out. And yeah, we will see everyone in 2021.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Happy
Black
New
Lives
Year.
Matter and fuck Pitchfork.
Fuck
Real.
Pitchfork.
Fuck Pitchfork.